Welcome back, everyone, to ThirdStreet Reactions. I'm Zach.
Shane.
We are back with Daima, Dragon Ball Daima, Season 1, Episode 14. Do you remember what happened last time on Planet Mega?
Yeah, the second scariest planet, maybe in all three dimensions, but definitely in that system.
Yeah, next to Planet Giga.
I loved the adventure, the wonder of it.
Hamsters.
The hamster.
Dog,
yeah, I loved all of it.
the child.
I mean, it's just like, I love Dragon Ball Z. It's one of the greatest things ever, but you just don't get any of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, you haven't had any of it since Dragon Ball.
Yeah, and I've really watched Dragon Ball, so it's funny because I'm going through the Cell Saga with my kids. It's so badass, but I get to this and it's this wonderful breath of fresh air.
Well, it's just that you know that you can come in here and not have it's humor.
It's humor, and I just like seeing the characters and situation. I like seeing them in new places.
Well, it's essentially what like Dragon Ball was like. There was mostly humor. Like they go to this town and there's the Rabbit Gang, I think is what they were called.
Yeah.
And some literal fucking Easter Bunny rabbit looking guy runs it.
Yeah.
And I think that was the one where basically Bulma dressed up like a Playboy bunny.
Oh hell yeah.
And she's like, I don't know how old she is.
18. 18 years old. Let's just say that.
Well, if it's showing her fucking tits in the comic, then I have to assume that it's probably at least that old. But I thought that I don't know how old Goku was when Dragon Ball occurred, but I thought she wasn't that much older than him.
I know she's older, but I don't know she's that much older.
Well, she's older, but because Vegeta I thought was like 10 years older than him.
10?
It's something like that. Like
Okay.
It's a decent amount. I don't know what it is exactly.
But he died for a few years. Yeah.
I just don't know how compared to Bulma.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she's in between.
Okay.
I was assuming she was like 15 or 16. Obviously Japanese humor being what it is,
Yeah.
it was just acceptable to put it in there. But
Yeah.
I feel like there had to have been some age parameters.
We were all banging when we were 16. At least most kids were.
What?
But when you're way above 16, you think, oh, well, that's off limits now. So
Yeah.
I just say she's 18. Let's just say she's 18.
Either way, she was dressed up. She had dressed up like he drew her as like a Playboy or in the Playboy bunny outfit.
But it's funny to me to think about this man drawing this girl like that.
Yeah,
That's what's funny about
smoking
it.
cigarettes
Yeah.
all fucking night long and just doing that shit.
Yeah.
It was outrageous some of the adventures they went on. But when the action occurred, it was always really cool.
Yeah.
He always did a fantastic fucking job of drawing those impactful moments.
Yeah.
Everything with King Piccolo, even though it was outrageous, the president of the world was a dog. And
Of the world.
Yeah.
So it's one world government.
It probably made it easier for him in terms of details.
And I think they just kind of they just avoid all that kind of in Dragon Ball Z. Like they don't talk too much about like
The only time you ever see really any of it is in the Saiyan saga.
of the government or
Yeah, because those jets come out there to fight the Saiyans.
oh yeah.
And
Freaking Nappa just like
yeah.
going, he's running around like doing this.
He's doing this number.
Yeah, and then I remember in obviously in the Cell Saga, there's like a news broadcast of everything going on.
But they don't go through the government shit.
No, they don't. I think they're just like, let's just not talk about that.
It was Dragon Ball. They had the pretty sure he's the president of the world, and I'm very sure, unless I'm mistaken, that he was a dog.
I want a supercharged up dog. Then I want to see a supercharged up fighter that's a dog.
Oh, he wasn't.
Since
a fighter.
we know they
he wasn't a
exist.
fighter. He was just some guy.
What I'm saying is that since we know they exist,
Yeah, we had that in the Super. There's a planet or a system.
I don't-
Those dog guys that look like foxes.
yeah, but they were dogs. I want a puppy dog. I want a cat like that cat right there.
Yeah, Corrin. Corrin's cool.
I know, but he's not a fighter.
Old fucking pot smoking cat just hanging out there.
He's wild, isn't he? You know,
Hey, Goku.
you know him and Yajirobe are just getting high.
Yeah, getting high, drinking, eating
So
food.
I saw this thing the other
Running up
day.
with fat.
I saw this thing the other day. I didn't really click through the article, but Yajirobe during Dragon Ball, it demonstrates that he's absolutely one of the most powerful people on the planet by far.
Yeah, he was actually like he was presented in a way I wouldn't call him intimidating.
Yeah.
But he was a little more impressive.
Okay.
Then the later years, you just kind of like, whatever.
He's just
man."
lazy later on. Yeah. Okay.
But he was cooler in Dragon Ball.
Okay.
At least in the comic. I have not watched the anime, so.
Yeah. The big event, though, in the last episode is
Sir Warp.
Yeah, Sir Warp is down. I'm glad he just kind of went to sleep.
Goma shut him down.
Yeah. And but we still have 2 Dragon Balls, although
Aaron Soup.
she's confident now that she has
her
to.
agent is the guy that's the pilot of their journey.
Yeah.
And we remember a discussion at the beginning of the last episode where they were talking about, she was talking to him. They had a correspondence. And after that talk, she was sitting in her office saying, very soon, basically, she'll have all three.
Yeah. So, I'm really liking the show. It's fun and it's funny, and I love the action and the animation's so good too.
Oh, yeah.
And I just, I really love Super, but sometimes the animation wasn't that good.
It was not. I was not a big fan of Super.
Yeah.
And I realized there were some moments with the animation department in the Majin Buu saga.
Yeah.
That failed.
That was definitely terrible.
Super took the animation. It was a completely different style.
Yeah.
Which I shouldn't say completely different, but it was definitely noticeably different.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it was a little more toony, I guess, in terms of the modern sense.
Okay.
And,
it's hard for me to tell the difference. It looked... I just didn't like how they were skinnier.
They're skinnier, and GT do that too.
Yeah,
you can look at clips of GT, which I never watched GT, but I've seen clips. And, they're very, very
I want everyone to look like Tien.
They're very lean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not bulky.
Tien and Yamcha are, the most jacked guys out there.
At this point now, because they've,
even then,
all of our heroes, the only one left is even Piccolo's gotten a little thinner.
It's just, I don't know what's the deal with that. I mean, Rurouni Kenshin, he's lean. I don't know if it's just a thing that they're doing. Maybe during the 90s they said, we got to press these American kids, so let's fucking make everyone jacked.
No, but I tell you what, the coolest version of Goku as a Super Saiyan was probably when he first turned on Namek.
I mean, he looked amazing.
Yeah.
He looked amazing.
In terms of just how he was designed, how he was drawn, how...
To me...
you see that action figure that they made of him.
Yeah.
In that particular moment. That is one of the best looking action figures from the SH Figure Arts that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And in terms of Goku.
Yeah.
And one of the best Vegeta figures I saw was the Vegeta from his fight with Pui, or whatever the hell his name was. Kui.
Okay.
His name was Kui. Remember that blue guy that followed him from that planet? He came back after his fight with Goku. And healed, and then he went to Namek. And
he went there because he had to recuperate.
And Kui followed him.
Yeah.
And he kills him.
Yeah.
And he has just the upper armor.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
In terms of how it looks compared to the anime. They didn't try to make it... It's like when you see action figures transition from their television counterparts, a lot of times they don't look like a television counterpart. It's just something that they could... The best mold they can make in a short amount of time to produce this cheap toy for kids to buy. And that's kind of how those figures were initially. And then SH Figure Arts has been doing a better job of recapturing.
Guys, before we jump into this, we do put our anime on Patreon, but it's available for everyone. So if you like us, you like conversations, you like Dragon Ball, Attack on Titan, there's other things that we're doing. We just haven't done them. We haven't done them in a while, but we will. We got to get through probably the spring and probably Andor. We keep saying another show keeps popping up.
Yeah.
But we got, my kids and I, we actually have done Demon Slayer, and Zach and I have done quite a bit of Vinland Saga. Like them both quite a bit. But go there, check it out, and then when you're done, come over here and watch our post-talk, because we're going to break it down.
That was our reaction. Now we're going to talk about it. I liked it.
I liked it too.
You know what I mean? Nothing's ever going to top how ridiculous the Ginyu Force was.
No.
Because these guys, they all look uniform in terms of their species, in terms of how they dressed more or less. So they had different physical attributes, but overall, nothing's going to top the fact that you had this just ridiculous menagerie that was the Ginyu Force. And
I love how everyone tried out and that they weren't uniform. People from all over the galaxy can come and try for the Ginyu Force.
Yeah.
You could be different creed or color. It didn't matter.
No, it didn't matter.
These rabbit people, they all got to be they're all the same.
And
that being said, the spirit of it, I liked.
Well, yeah, and because there's also ridiculous is the personalities in the Ginyu Force.
Yeah.
Because Burter and Jace were probably close enough.
Yeah.
But Raccoon, Goldo, and Ginyu.
Yeah,
Ginyu had
was Goldo...
I'm Ginyu! He had this really kind of grizzled voice.
Yeah. Was Goldo the little green?
Yeah.
He was holding his breath.
Yeah, to stop time.
What a great attack.
And then Vegeta cuts his fucking head off.
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, and...
I felt bad for him.
Because he's actually trying to kill Krillin and Gohan. And he's going to.
Yeah.
And then Vegeta kills him. He kills Raccoon after Goku beats him. I think he kills Berta and Jace the same way.
Like stomps on her neck, one of those guys, yeah.
So...
I liked them for what they were. I still got to see more.
Well, they were great for what they were. I absolutely love the Ginyu Force.
These guys.
Oh, fuck these guys.
No, but
I'm glad to have the reminiscence.
Yeah.
And they're all...
One thing about... Yeah. They try to buy kids with these candy for these kids.
Too much money, and they just buy them a couple candy bars.
But they didn't steal. They buy by the rule, though.
They did.
Yeah. I also like, in terms of the Ginyu Force, just Frieza's reaction to it. He kind of like puts up with it. You know,
a little embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we got another mention of Majolite. I kind of forgot about that.
Yep.
Oh, Element 115.
Well, Nava, we found out in this episode, or Nava, however you pronounce his name, he created the shield barriers to preserve the peace.
I'm very curious now, just more about him and his...
Well, I love it because it reminds me of Lord Slug, of these ancient Namekians.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I liked that a lot about that movie. It was really cool to have, like, that tie-in. Like, the Namekians weren't always just like, these peace-loving guys. There actually were some heavies in their history.
Like you said before, it'd be a good way to bring him up. Like,
it would be. Like, I would love to see Lord Slug in this.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to get disturbed back. I get that, but...
Yeah, someone created that, though.
No, they could be great. But either way, we still have the original movie.
Yeah.
But
regardless... the idea that he's got some more hidden... Like, there's more to him.
Well, Piccolo said, no Namekian could have done that. You're literally a living legend.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. I like Neva more and more.
Yeah.
Of course, the John Darn and the John Darnian Force, or whatever the hell they call it. John Darn.
Let me tell you something real quick. So the potato chips had a worm on it. And...
tequila worm.
Was it tequila worm?
That just sort of reminds me of.
Well, my dad, he was talking about how he didn't like peas. Like, and I said, being a child of the Cold War, how are you so picky? And then he's like, I'll never forget. I was 10 years old at... Hold on. I'll never forget. I was 10 years old he was at Reno Elementary School as a 10-year-old kid. And he said he had a pee in a cafeteria and there was a worm inside of it. So the thing about the worm reminded me of a story about my dad. He told me earlier, because my parents were making vegetable beef soup and my mom wanted my dad to pick out the corn. He's like, I'm not going to pick out the corn, Lita. I don't like peas, but I'm not going to pick them out. Mm-hmm. That's just too much work. And then I was like, why don't you like peas? I was talking about being a child of the Cold War and being so picky. He said, well, I'll never forget, I was 10 years old at Reno Elementary School. I was at the school cafeteria, and I was eating peas, and I found a worm in mine. No more after that.
It's funny how he's held on to these things over the years.
Yeah.
And just could not let them go. You told me something else earlier.
Now, he'll eat them, but like he doesn't like them. I respect that he eats them though.
Well, there's plenty of things that I eat that I just don't particularly like as much as other things. But normally I can eat most things. I don't particularly like heavily spicy food.
Yeah.
No fucking love for it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that's like the only thing I can think of that I really detest. Just because I feel like if it's, I don't know.
I don't detest anything anymore. I used to not like green beans, but I love them.
And most things that I don't eat now are only because they're not that healthy for you.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I don't eat them anymore. It's not because I don't love them. I love cereal.
Yeah.
Love it.
Fruit Loops, dude.
I could buy a fucking box of cereal and just like pour it into a saucepan and just eat that shit.
Yeah.
But I know it's terrible for you.
Yeah, I don't fuck with that really. Like, for like a dessert. So it's like
the longer you go without it too, when you do eat it, you feel like shit.
I feel like I don't, but.
Well, I do. Like if I eat like a bowl of cereal, if I eat one, I'm okay. I can never just eat one.
I always used to.
So I'll eat like two, and like I'm.
You get big bowls. Like when I was younger, you used to get like the biggest fucking bowl.
I know.
Like if I could burgers eating all the goddamn cereal again, boys. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know anymore. I mean, even if I eat dessert and shit, like I just.
There was something recently we talked about how you and I both didn't like it. I can't remember what it was.
I know I'm not big on curry, but I've only ever had it once, and I think that
chicken curry. You try to have it again.
When it was just some fucking restaurant, it was like a buffet, an Indian buffet. And
if it's a buffet, it might not be as good.
Yeah, the curry was just, to me, it was like I went in there. For one, I probably wanted something else, and I went in there just a bunch of slop. And
I make it pretty good. I make chicken tikka masala, which has which has curry in it.
Yeah.
And the way I make it, I kind of it's a hybrid. I just make chicken tikka masala but I put a lot of curry. And I put I put tikka masala in it, which tikka masala has curry.
I'm just trying to think of something like if I went to a meal.
Yeah.
Or like a, say, work hosted lunch.
Yeah.
Anything like that. And they had food on the table. I'm trying to think of one thing that would be on that table that I would just not fucking eat if I saw it. If I was hungry or whatever. But if you're hungry enough, you're going to fucking eat much of anything. But I'm just saying that I was going to a meal. I found out there's a bunch of shit here. What's the one thing that's like, I am not fucking eating that? And the only thing I could say is that I could not eat extremely spicy food. I just can't do it.
Okay, I don't load up on olives on my plate. Like, if they're in a salad, I'll eat them.
Green or black?
Either. Like,
I like black olives.
Yeah, I don't load up on them. I don't eat them as a snack.
Not big on green.
My cousin Dirk and Aaron, they eat, when we were kids, we walk around a yard, they'd have jars, they'd be eating them.
I can eat green olives more on pizza now that I've gotten older.
And I dislike them more on pizza.
I've liked them more on pizza. Because Supreme pizzas, I never used to like that shit. I peel off the banana peppers before I peel off the olives.
I love banana peppers.
More power to you.
Yeah.
I personally I'll eat them. I can eat them. I have eaten them. But like a guy at work, he'll make pickled eggs.
Yeah.
That have pickled eggs and, what do you call kielbasa.
Okay.
So he's got eggs and kielbasa that he's pickled in a brine.
Yeah.
And it's got cauliflower.
That sounds good.
Banana peppers. And he did turnips, I think, last time. And jalapenos.
Yeah.
And it was so fucking hot. Like the eggs and the kielbasa, I could sit there and eat.
Yeah.
Just like one after another. If you got the fucking cauliflower, that would soak up that brine so quick.
Yeah.
Like it was so fucking hot that to me it was unenjoyable to eat.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I don't know why. I mean,
I do not like that spicy. Like,
I worked in a fucking coal mine for the last 20 years. I can see you liking some spicy food because all your taste buds are just gone and you got nothing left.
Shout out to my friend Jeremy.
But I have not, and
Yeah.
I just don't like it. I never used to I wouldn't even touch anything that was remotely spicy when I was a kid.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older, I've gotten more acclimated to it.
Yeah.
And I can eat some things like that have some Creole kind of dishes and shit like that I can enjoy.
Oh, you and I both talked about this. It was oysters.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever had an oyster.
Okay, because I told you I didn't love them, but I liked them. So when I was in South Carolina, we went to a seafood restaurant, and this lady said, you put them on crackers, you put some hot sauce on there. That's how I do them, and I love them. If you either love them or hate them. And I didn't love them, but I didn't hate them. I just kept eating it. I think I just need to get myself used to it because oysters are like one of the best things you can eat nutritionally. But yeah, they are these slimy little things.
It's like a grass-fed beef liver.
And liver is incredible for you.
One of the most nutrient dishes.
Organ meats are
dense dishes
in
the world. I know that there were several items that were fish. Like sardines were one of them.
Yeah,
but
sardines,
there was a bunch of other ones that were fucking on there. But I know beef liver and then beef, but it was like grass-fed.
Yeah, chicken liver too.
Chicken liver wasn't on there.
But I know it's nutrient dense, like in terms of organ meats in general.
Well, I was talking about like the most nutrient dense dishes in the fucking world.
Okay.
In terms of superfoods, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But oysters were on there. Well, no, it was shellfish.
Shellfish in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like all kinds of shellfish, oysters. From what I've seen, they're at the top of the list in terms of that stuff. Don't love them, but I've actually looked up all these different recipes. I'm gonna try it again.
The only shellfish I've had are like clams.
Yeah, we had clams too, and clams are better.
Clams and
fresh. I meant fresh. I meant like at the seafood restaurant. I love clam chowder, dude.
Oh, clam chowder is fucking
I can
delicious.
eat that shit all day.
It's delicious.
But it's just
like a potato soup with clams.
Yeah. But in terms of it was fun, like opening them up and then shucking them out. I felt like
a little oyster knife.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah.
But Joy ate that thing. She's like, what the hell is this? It's kind of slimy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't love it. But I would try it. I'll try it again.
Well, it's funny how many people have such preferences about food because at work I eat sardines like every fucking day.
Yeah.
Except maybe one day out of the week.
Why do people think they're gross? They taste like tuna.
Because they don't eat them. They don't know.
They just think, sorry, just like this.
Because it's a fish. Like you're literally looking at the fish.
It's like this stigma or something, but like they taste like.
I remember one day I actually got a head in. No, it was like part of a head in one of my cans because they don't do the heads anymore.
Yeah.
And it was part of a head in my can. Like, ooh, I got a head. I ate it, and the fucking guy across me was like, What? It was a nice little surprise for me.
Yeah. But it just like watching Mad Men, like with advertising, like lots of times they'd want to avoid like putting a worm or a rat or anything like on food, because they said like the idea of it turns people off and it's subconscious.
Yeah.
And they try to find ways to get people to buy more products.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one idea was like this guy was using this mouse in commercials for a hotel, and the character was looking at it and he says, "I don't think anyone wants to think of a mouse in their hotel." And he's like, "Oh." But it was like a cartoon character. It was like a Jerry, like a Tom and Jerry type.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think about it, but he might have had a point subconsciously, I guess.
I think I'd agree.
Yeah.
If you look at that versus, say, something like the Marietta or something like that, you had just, I don't know. Like now, modern advertising is a lot different.
Yeah, it's quicker, and it's like it has to be like.
Well, it's more about like you can literally see just the accommodations. It's about the literal, practical accommodations.
Yeah.
And these people having fun. You don't have cartoons and little things.
Yeah, back
that sell
then,
it
like
for
they
you.
even knew that they'd have Clios, like awards for advertisements. And really, the only advertisements that are big and that win are the ones like, okay, we're gonna get a team together to put like a whole 2-minute ad for the Super Bowl. And it's going to tell a story. But if you're on Hulu or whatever, like you don't see that. You see like
No, it's like fucking pharmaceutical bullshit.
And that's it.
There's like another one.
And like liberty, liberty, liberty.
Yeah, liberty. It's liberty.
The baby. I like the baby. Liberty.
No, she says it's liberty.
Yeah.
He says it's Bibberty.
Yeah.
Liberty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but the goddamn pharmaceutical commercials, man.
I can't stand
RFK Jr. needs to fucking nip that shit in the ass.
I completely agree with that. I mean,
All right, we talked about shit that's not been Dragon Ball for a very long time. The only other note I have is Vegeta carrying Bulma.
Yeah.
And there's an idea that I remember seeing a clip from GT where he shaved his mustache.
Yeah.
You remember he had a mustache for a short term in GT?
I didn't know for a short term, but
Well,
I knew he had one.
But his daughter, Pan, or is that Gohan's daughter? Gohan's daughter's Pan. Who the fuck is Vegeta's daughter? I don't know. But Vegeta's daughter said, "You look ridiculous in that mustache," basically.
So he shaved it
He's
off?
like, "Oh!" He had that moment, like an anime moment.
Yeah.
Where he's like shocked.
Yeah.
And it showed him in like this dark room, like panning out from him.
Yeah.
So he shaved it off, and like Chi-Chi and Bulma were laughing about it.
That's funny.
So the idea that he's becoming domesticated.
Yeah.
Because he cares about this woman and cares about his family, and he's.
It's funny. It reminds me of what I almost said Omega Man, but what's Mark's dad's name?
Nolan.
Yeah, but what's his superhero name?
Omni-Man.
It's like what Omni-Man should have done. Omni-Man should have stayed with his wife, stayed with his family. Well, and now he's walking out with all this grief.
Well, we had that moment with the talk with Conquest, because I'd recently watched that fun penultimate episode.
Yeah.
Last episode, I should say. And he's talking about, I remember your dad. When he was young, he had so much potential.
Yeah.
So the idea that Nolan's still trying to fill shoes as a Viltrumite, but then he had that moment where he's talking to Alan the alien, which I think I missed my wife.
Yeah.
But of course, we have to assume he's talking about Mark's mom.
Yes, for sure.
But he had multiple wives.
Yeah.
So, but obviously he's talking about Mark's mom. Either way, it's showing you that he was just as much as a human, quote unquote, character in respect to how he viewed the shoes he had to fill as a Viltrumite. Like everything he's trying to explain to Mark when he's beating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
It's like he's trying to put that rhetoric out there.
Yeah.
Like almost he needs to buy it.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, he couldn't. He
yeah.
left. So it's really cool. It's in that respect.
They made good use of that Billie Eilish song. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a different show again. But yeah, this was a fun episode.
I'll take this though. The comparison is to Vegeta, and
Yeah.
Vegeta obviously he's changed and grown the most.
Yeah.
Out of any character in this show.
Absolutely.
So he's given the most room and the most kind of opportunity for growth, because you look at who he was in the very beginning. He was a ruthless killer.
Yeah, I would
like
pick
probably
yeah.
Not even compared to Frieza. Frieza was just more powerful. I mean, Frieza was a monster. Is the idea. Like Vegeta was still cutthroat. But
yeah, the idea of like destroying a race seemed volatile to Vegeta. Almost like the Saiyans, they'll conquer you, but they might not destroy the
I
planet.
don't know. They're killing everybody.
Yeah, I know.
So don't get me wrong. So my point though is that he obviously described Frieza as a monster. Even he knew who he was, and he still described Frieza as a monster.
Yeah.
So man, it's just because of what Frieza did to his race, whatever. But,
yeah.
either way, he has had the most growth. Piccolo obviously was Toriyama's favorite. We see that now in reflections of the Namekians and their role, their returning role.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope to see Lord Slug one day. I don't have to because I still have the original movie that I can go back and reminisce on. But it'll be very cool because they brought Broly in.
And they brought him back in a better way.
Yeah. So it'd be very cool to see Lord Slug brought in as a future villain in the Dragon Ball.
I can't wait to see, I guess, season 2 of Super when that eventually comes out. I mean, I'm happy with this, but I'm excited to see some Broly stuff.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And I miss Beerus and, what's his name? Whis. Yeah. Okay, anyways, I think that's it. Guys, this is episode 14. We appreciate you, and see you next week.